It's episode 5, the Best Medicine Podcast with me, Dr. Riaad Moosa. Salam alaikum. Okay, that's enough of that. Horrible choreographic exhibition over there. I do apologize. I did that purely to torture my daughter, Riaad Moosa. Because last week she actually said, Dad, she was very critical, Dad, that dance thing that you started your podcast with, that was like so cringe, Dad. You must never do that again. Oh, it was so cringe. I hate it. So I purely did that to torture my beautiful daughter because she wants things to be too perfect, bruh. And I'm trying to teach her as a parent that, you got to be able to, be cringe at times. Because I'm taking an iterative approach to the podcast. Basically, I'm trying to experiment here. I'm trying to figure out the direction I want to go in. I'm trying to fail forward, as it is commonly said. Fail forward. Try stuff, make mistakes, correct those mistakes, and then move forward. So I don't have perfection now, but hopefully I will tend to perfection. Far from it. And part of that is doing that weird epileptic seizure type of dance that I did beforehand. But I did quite enjoy it. Nevertheless, it's Ramadan. I'm not sure that I should be actually doing a dance. But I did enjoy it. I'll make tawbah. So I made a mistake. I may have sinned. I'm not sure. But I make tawbah, or repentance, for those people who don't know Islamic term. How do I speak? How am I speaking? Islamic terminology. All right. So I also got to let go of this perfection thing, because I actually would, just because I pronounce Islamic differently, I'd to redo this whole podcast. So I actually understand what my daughter's going through. You just want to fix everything, make it perfect. And so for me, it's maybe, the pot calling the kettle black, if, I'm judging her for being too perfectionistic, because I think I am, in fact, very similar. Pot calling the kettle black, is that really a thing that we should still be using? Because all my pots are silver and my kettle is cream or eggshell. So I don't know if that saying works. Pot calling the kettle black. But anyways, that's what I'm trying to do. Fail forward. That's why I'm making this podcast. Is actually why actually am I doing it? I don't know. I have no idea. I got my notes. I'm getting old, bro. Getting old. I couldn't find my book, Brah, where I made notes, and I put it down now just before this. And then I didn't know where it was. I was walking around the whole house trying to find the book, and I just put it down somewhere. Eventually found it in the garage because I couldn't find the keys to the studio, right? And so I was looking in the car, but then I couldn't eventually get those keys. So I had to try and, use my mother's keys to get inside. But then I forgot where I put the book. And then eventually I found the book. So now I'm here now. And I don't, why I should have told you those things, because I'm my mother says that there's no substance to the podcast. I ramble. But so maybe that's where the perfectionism comes from. So I should have been preparing a little bit more. But I'm not going to, out of principle, because I'm also, if I'm going to give my daughter advice, then I should have taken it myself. Like the dance in all honesty, is cringe. It is cringe. And if I were to learn from what I was saying, you have to correct yourself. If you make a mistake, you have to correct it. That's the important. Making mistakes is not a problem if you correct it, right? And if I took my own advice, I wouldn't have like redone the weird dance that I just did. 90s dance inspired by Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith, Carlton, and you maybe White Men Can't Jump. When I was practicing in front of the mirror trying to dance when I was a kid, that's what I used to do. I really am saying a bit too much. I'm just realizing how dorkish I'm coming across, but it's okay. It's fine, right? We're stepping into the unknown, trying to fail forward, make mistakes. I think that creativity is curative, and through making this podcast, hopefully this will be a healing experience, not only for me, but for you guys as well. Because, I originally qualified as a medical doctor many years ago, but for most of the past 20 years, I've been a comedian. So I may be trying to collate my two careers a little bit and maybe make a podcast that not only contains comedic elements, but also contains something more deeper and meaningful, right? That's more healing from a physical perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from a psychological perspective, mental health. I want to be psychologically well because recently I think I've been more psycho and less logical. But I'd like to thank you guys also, because through this year it's actually therapeutic for me. I'm the doctor, but you guys are treating me, so I value you. Thank you very much for listening. If there are any people listening, if there's no people listening, I'll just be a dwarf talking into a microphone in my room, talking to himself, which in that case I don't think it's very therapeutic. But we've been getting deep, bro. I think it's because of Ramadan. I've been getting deep. The past few podcasts, what did it like? I've been tackling the point of life, existentialism, through my experience with my nihilistic 5-year-old, Mikael. And in the Chris Rock and Will Smith episodes, I was talking about, the pursuit of perfection, or the search of perfection, and the ego in the relation to God. Brah! So I think in this podcast, the bigger theme, the bigger idea I want to talk about is, I think, failure and mistakes and the search for knowledge. I think that's the deeper thing. It's Ramadan, people. You must understand. This is our time where Muslims, we don't feed our stomachs, we feed our souls. So we engage in contemplation, right? And trying to understand the meaning of life. And I'm trying to be a bit spiritual, and I'm failing at that, I think. I think I'm failing. I don't usually do gigs in Ramadan. I don't at all. But I did a gig at the beginning. I don't do any public shows, but I do corporate shows. And then it's always weird when you do corporate shows during Ramadan, because people always offer you stuff there because you like the entertainer. So you are taken care of a lot, and say, would you like some coffee or some we have muffins and we have danishes and all these pastries. And then I usually say, no, not at the moment, thanks. I'm fasting. And so, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. They always they apologize I just lost a loved one, It's I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I'm so sorry, I'll pray for you. Are you doing okay? I'm so sorry. And then they go, can I at least get you some water? No, we don't have water. It's a dry fast. Not even water. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm really sorry. I'm just not eating from sunrise to sunset. You don't have to go overboard with the apologies. It's cool, bro. And we don't even fast that long in South Africa. Generally it's around 6 till 6, or 5 till 7. In that region, 5 in the morning till 7 at night. It's not bad. in like the UK and other parts of the world. Brah! Like you can like fast from like 3 o'clock in the morning till 10, 11 at night, brah. Yo, hectic. And I always wondered what happens at the poles, at the North and the South Pole, because those who know geography, it can be day for 6 months because of how the sun hits the earth. It can be day for 6 months, brah. Like I think that's why they don't have like Muslim Eskimos. I think that's why there's no Muslim Eskimos. Oh, what time are you going to break fast? October, brah. October. Because that's what we do. We fast from sunrise to sunset. And then, people, apologize. I'm so sorry. Like, I mean, it's very different in my house because everybody's fasting except the 5-year-old, Mikael. And Mikael takes pleasure in eating scrumptious food in front of his brothers. Especially his 8-year-old brother, my son, who's having a tough time fasting. And Mikael takes pleasure in eating in front of him. Like he had those yan-yans. Those yan-yans? That delicious breadsticks. Like, that tub breadsticks with a chocolate in a little compartment. And you were like, dip it in and I make noises in front of my son. Daddy is eating my ear. Daddy is eating my ear. You try and get Mikael to walk past. Like, then just go into the other room. Mikael follows him. He's following me, Dad. Stares him down. That guy, bro. Mikael. Dad, you're the worst dad I've ever had. That's his favorite thing. Bruh, I tell him you can't do one thing. I'm saying, Mikael, you don't eat in front of your brother. And I go, you're the worst dad I've ever had. Okay. Very cute at the moment, but I don't like the sentiment. Mikael, dude, like last night we were making Salaah, bruh. Okay? And my son Zamir is doing Hafiz, so he usually leads the Salaah. And Mikael takes a Nerf gun and shoots him. And not in his torso. Bruh, in the gonads, bro. Nerf gun foam bullet to the nuts. But before I continue, I think, with that theme, I just want to thank my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much to you guys. I know last week I was complaining I didn't have any patrons, but now I got 2, right? It increased 100%. Brah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much to you guys for supporting me. I don't expect people to support me, but I do value you when you do, right? I really do. And I wanted to mention your names, but at least one of you said you prefer me not to mention your name, right? You prefer a life of hermetic solitude, but you know who you are, and you know that I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you enjoyed all the movies and access to stand-up comedy specials that I sent you, because that's what you get when you support me on Patreon. You get ad-free episodes of all the podcasts, all my comedy specials. The new one that's coming out, Voices in My Head, is going to be on there as well. You're going to get also like discounted access to my virtual comedy club, where I have comedians from all over the world joining in and doing stand-up comedy virtually. You'll also have access to shows, discounts, VIP events. There's a lot of cool goodies that I am offering. New material, the comedian's cut of new material, the extended cut, the better cut of my new movie, the follow-up to Material 2, new material, right? I'll give you access to that as well, or discounted access depending on the tier that you join. So thank you so much to the Patreons. But also, guys, like for the people who don't support me financially, it's fine. It's okay. I do this for the love. I don't expect you to, like, I don't mind if I just like spend all my hard-earned, like my children's education fund and health benefits, like on creating this podcast studio so I can create like all this amazing content. Well, I think it's amazing. The stand-up at least is really good. I don't know about the podcast, but I created for you, and the movie is really good. But you don't need to give back in any way. Don't feel guilty. Just keep on like biting into my creative flesh without any remorse or feeling like you need to give back at all. Just consume and suck me dry without giving back. I'm completely fine with that because I do this for the love. No, I'm teasing, guys. I really do this for the love, but I do appreciate the support I get on Patreon, but I don't expect it. Nerf gun foam bullet to the nuts. And we didn't expect this. Like, usually, what happens? We make Salaah and there's a couch just in front of our... it's in front of the Salaah area. I'm trying to be spiritual. All these kids are preventing my spirituality. I'm failing at this, right? We got a couch in front. And then we make Salaah and we try to concentrate. Mikael stands for a few seconds and decides to walk around the house. He stands on the couch first of all and starts staring at Zamir while he's making Salaah. No blinking. He knows what he's doing, right? It's a Mexican standoff, right? But Zamir he's focused, bro, right? So Mikael went to get like a Nerf gun, bruh. Then just start pointing the Nerf gun at Zamir. And we tried to make Salaah. And when you're not supposed to laugh, it's very difficult not to laugh. So, obviously the kids are like, and Zamir reciting beautifully, laser focus, right? So the dude gets a gun, Nerf gun, points it initially at his face and then at his nads, dude, and lets one fly. Pa! Ka-ching! Ricocheting. And Zamir didn't even like not even a quiver in the voice or a ripple of the body, right? He was just Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman. Dude, I would be Alham. If it my voice would have shown that I was hit in the nether regions by a bullet. But he didn't even flinch, bro. Credit to him, dude. He did it twice. Because at this point you go okay. Right? Do you stop the Salaah and try and continue later after you take away the kid's gun? Right? Or do you try and just, you're supposed to, try and maintain your composure. So, Samir was he shot him twice. He told me afterwards, one to the left nut and one to the right nut. And, in that sense, I don't know how to solve this problem. Obviously, you have to discipline the child and there has to be consequences for that, right? They also say you can either, be punitive or you can give the kid another activity to do. So maybe what must I do? Get maybe a couple of, Easter eggs and put it in a stocking, hang it somewhere else. Don't shoot that nut, aim at this one, bro. If you feel compelled to try and aim at scrotum structures, get the stocking. Put a couple of Easter eggs in there, lint balls, and then you can shoot that rather, bro. Don't do that to your brother who's trying to do something good. I don't know if anybody had experiences like this. It's a weird time, I've been contemplating, but it's a month that is very special for us as Muslims. It was actually during this month that the Quran was revealed to our Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Peace and blessings be upon him, right? It was during the last 10 days, I think, of the fast. We don't know which day it was. It's called Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. And I've been thinking about, that first revelation because it happened during the time they call the period of ignorance or Jahiliyyah. Right, in Arabia, where horrible things was happening. Horrific thing. They used to bury the children, babies alive, bro, because they were so shamed that they didn't have a boy child. They would do this to little girls. It was a bloodthirsty time. Feuds. People used to kill each other over nothing. Very materialistic time. And this used to trouble our Prophet, who was a very kind-hearted individual, very honest. He was known as the trustworthy, as-Sadiq, al-Amin, right? And I think in his 40s, right, middle age, he was very sort of pained by the horror that he was seeing like on a daily basis around him, and used to go to the cave Hira, right, on a mountain nearby to meditate and contemplate how to solve all of these things. And it was on one of those nights that the angel Gabriel appeared before him. Right? Now, even for the atheists listening to this, don't think I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm not. I'm just expressing, right, what I contemplate about, because everybody wants to understand the meaning of life, right?
Everybody wants to know why we are here and what we are supposed to do. I don't know why I'm speaking this voice.
But anyways, the angel Gabriel appeared to him. Brah. Okay? I'm going to put in bras and yes, yo. Like every now and then, just so you know, this is not like a religious sermon, to know that like this is just me trying to understand things. So this, you didn't know it was the angel, dude. You didn't come there with a name tag, Gabriel, and he had wings and stuff. No, it wasn't like that. What are those, those frisbees over the top of his head, those luminous frisbees. Right? He didn't have that. Like, he appeared as like a man, an apparition. And this actually like terrified Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the first words in this period of ignorance, this is very important. The first words of the Quran that was revealed was Iqra. And that means read. So there was like a command from this figure that appeared before him, told the Nabi Muhammad, said, read. And here's the thing, the Nabi Muhammad, our prophet, couldn't read. He was an unlettered man. He was illiterate. He couldn't read. He couldn't write. So here, this figure in this cave, all alone, appears to him and tells him, read. Hectic, brah. And he was like, I can't read. I can't read. And then this figure takes him in his arms and squeezes all the breath from him. He says, the narration is to the point of exhaustion, right? Crushes him, lets him go, and says again, read. He's like, I can't read. Crushes him again. Exhaustion. Says again, read, right? Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. خلق الإنسان من علق. And the words placed before him, he read. And after this whole experience, he was absolutely terrified by it. He thought it was being possessed by a jinn, which is, a spirit of the desert, It's sort of an entity in an alternate dimension for us as Muslims, an entity made apparently out of fire. I think the whole idea of a genie comes from that, the jinn. He thought he was being possessed. He was terrified. And he only grew to understand how profound his experience was when he started to realize the significance of the words that were coming out of his mouth. Because apparently it used to come out in a trance-like fashion. And it came out in a form of structural poetry that was sort of extremely admired by many of the poets of the day. And it was sort of seen as like a very, very strange thing that this unlettered person with no education was sort of reciting structurally amazing poetry. And not only the content of what he was saying, which moved people, but also the structure of it, filled with onomatopoeia, just meter, verse, came out exactly the same every time. But like the deeper meaning of that, like what is the deeper meaning? I want to know. He couldn't read and then he was forced to read. Is there like a deeper meaning, not being able to do something, but then forcing yourself to do that? Does this mean, I don't know. I just remember I'm like thinking about these things, and I haven't been smoking any electric spinach or anything like that I'm thinking all this stuff. It's Ramadan. We try to be, I don't know, maybe I'm hypoglycemic, maybe it's the fast. But I mean, does this mean that even if your mind tells you can't do something, you're still supposed to step into the unknown and attempt it? Read. That's the first word from the Quran. So it must be something significant. And we all know the search for knowledge seems to be our purpose. And I think this revelation emphasizes that. Like, read and try to do something even though you can't do something. Because what is the purpose? The ultimate purpose is maybe to like seek knowledge. Some people say you abstain from sin, right? Now, what's a sin? you're supposed to abstain from sin in the month of Ramadan generally, right? And then if you do sin in life, you're supposed to repent. We all know this, right? This is the process that the religions teach you. If you sin, right, you repent. And then you don't sin again, right? So, I also heard recently that sinning is actually an archery term, right? It means to miss the mark. If you're aiming at something and you miss the mark, that's sinning. And then what you have to do is correct. Now, is it just me, or isn't that just the process of failing forward? Because you're aiming at something, you step into the unknown, you attempt. If you make a mistake, what you got to do, you got to adjust and try again. Is that making... There seems to be alignment there in that process. Making a mistake, correcting that mistake, and stepping forward again, and sinning, and repenting, and trying again. The only difference between the two, I guess, is that, we will make mistakes. As long as we continue to seek knowledge and move forward, we'll continue to make mistakes. But the point is, you must correct those mistakes and step forward again, and we're not always going to know that we're going to sin. But if we realize we're sinning, we're supposed to correct those mistakes. I know I'm getting a bit I don't know if I'm getting, guys, is this too much for you? Please, if it's too much for you, turn off here now. Because I'm just talking, bro. Because the point is learning. Even Mike Tyson, dude. I heard Mike Tyson, he did this interview with Hasbullah, that little pituitary dwarf, Brah. That small dude is an adult, but looks like a kid, like a baby. He said, Hasbullah, Mike Tyson, the world is the school, and we all each other's teachers. We can learn from everybody, even the person even the person you don't like, because you learn what not to do. All right? That's true. Yeah, we learn from everybody. The point is learning. The point is getting information, but we're gonna make mistakes, right? And it's either our mistakes or other people's mistakes. We see other people's mistakes, we correct, and we decide, okay, we're not gonna do that. The point is to step into the unknown, trying to have a higher purpose. I think that's the important point. Don't have a lower purpose. Don't aim at your brother's nuts while you're making Salaah, right, with a Nerf gun. That is not a high purpose, Mikael. Aim towards creating something important, like a podcast where you talk cock and disguise it as spirituality. Or you guys may be learning, from this. Riaad's trying to do this podcast, Brah, I'm definitely not going to do that. So through my example, you're realizing what not to do. I'm questioning, is it important to make mistakes? And I'm saying, is it important to fail, right? And I say it is. And I think people should embrace stepping into the unknown, aiming for something to seek knowledge, and then failing and being okay with that. And we should tell everybody, just the important thing is to correct and move forward. We can't be making people scared to try stuff, right? We just need to try stuff, brah. Because the only way to actually make less mistakes is to make more mistakes. Whoa, dude, that's so deep, bruh. The only way to make less mistakes is to make more mistakes. You understand that? Because you make more mistakes, you learn more. And if you learn from those mistakes, and then you can make less mistakes. Because that's what we're all doing, bruh. You make less mistakes, right, as you know more. But you only know more if you make mistakes. So make a whole lot of mistakes and learn from those mistakes. You keep on doing that. We should all keep on doing that, while you're aiming at something higher, right? Because what is God ultimately, right? It's conceptualized. God is conceptualized, Allah the Almighty, as complete, not as no mistakes. Who makes no mistakes? They always say that. Who makes no mistakes? God, right? Now, how do we as mortals tend to God? We can only do that through making mistakes. So I'm not telling you now intentionally to go out and make mistakes where it's going to be a mistake. But I'm saying if you don't know, if you're aiming towards Allah, right? If you keep on, your aim is to improve, to move beyond yourself, then make that mistake. Because just think about all of this. I'm just thinking about all this podcast, this mic, right? This computer, bruh, this camera I'm talking to here, audio equipment, all of this, right? I have no bloody idea how it works, bruh. Have no clue how all of this stuff works. No idea. But all of this stuff was made through bajillions and perillions and quadrillions of mistakes that people made over the course of history, and mistakes that they learned from, and mistakes that was aggregated together to create all of these things that are of benefit to us. Everybody before is trying to do things that adding value to the people to come. Because hopefully all of these things will somehow ensure our survival. The more we know, the more we'll be able to, conquer the challenges that are presented before us, right? Because human beings, dude, right? We're the only species that can move beyond ourselves, right? Like animals can't move beyond themselves. Like in 10,000 years time, you're not going to see lions, in suits, briefcases, with a mane into a cornrow, a nice sort of manicured beard, trying to operate cell phones, unless we as humans, put some sort of neural link chip in their brains, and adjust them, or perform experiments on them to make them more intellectually superior than they are. No, they're going to be lions as long as we can keep them alive and don't ravage the planet. But humans, dude, in 10,000 years time, we might be chilling on Pluto, Who knows, dude? We'll be like a half cyborg, It might be like the Matrix time. Who knows? Bro, we have the ability to move towards something that's beyond ourselves. That's what we're able to do. But we've got to aim at something higher, That's important. We're all each other's teachers. The world is a school. So that's what I hope to do, guys. I'm trying to basically essentially figure out, because at this point in my life, I go, what am I here for? I know people say to worship God, to worship God. Yes, but what does that mean in my context? What does it mean in my context? In my context, I think, purpose is, how do you worship God is you by adding value to everybody, as many people around you as you can. Add value. That's what you're here for. I start with my children. Hopefully I can add value to my kids, Say, Mikael, don't shoot your brother with a gun in the nuts, Don't do that. Aim higher in life. Don't aim at scrotums. I impart certain ideas that's going to be beneficial, because all the people before us gave us all of this knowledge, and we're all contributing to human knowledge that will hopefully, get us closer to God, hopefully, inshallah, God willing. So what I'm telling you essentially, Hannah, is don't be worried about mistakes so much, as long as you're aiming to something good, bro. I mean, sis, bro. She calls herself bro also. She uses the term with all her girlfriends, hey bro, right? So I think I'm allowed to do that. The more mistakes you make in life, the more you learn from life. But don't sin. Don't make known mistakes. You know what the known mistakes are. Those are the sins. This is the mistakes people be making since the beginning of time, Avoid those things, please. But if you're aiming to the unknown, and you think what your purpose is good, make as many mistakes as you want to. I'll be there to pick up the pieces. Okay, no, I don't know about that. Yeah, so, got a bit deep here, bro. If you think please guys, listen, this, as I said, this is a therapy session for me. If you guys think I'm talking KAK, okay, SH1T, if you think I'm talking that, please let me know in the comment section. Please let me know if you think that my viewpoint makes sense and where it doesn't make sense. And thank you for listening, guys. There'll be stand-up, there'll be comedy soon. Don't worry, there'll be comedy. Remember, this podcast is about healing, right? So it's going to be, there's going to be some substance to it. I plan to do a lot more things. I want to do a back to med school section as well, or a segment of this podcast where I invite like friends of mine, guys from med school, like real doctors. Like the one is like a super specialist, intensive care medicine. And the other one is like an expert on HIV, and also is creating like amazing applications that's, helping a lot of people in the rural areas without access, to expertise. So we'll have real guys and we'll have me, and maybe we can offer people advice, right? Like they can offer you real advice and I can like offer my type of advice, but like I used to know as much as them guys, right? It's just like over the period of the past 20 years, like I started learning other things. Maybe I try to rekindle, my medical background a little bit to add value in that way. And also humor is healing, guys. Creativity is healing. I want to urge people to try and get creative. Make things, don't break things. And don't worry about if you make a mistake. This perfection thing is a fake thing, We're not perfect, but we can try and aim to make perfect things. I think that's a good aspiration. If you want to support this podcast, it'd be great. You can support me on patreon.com/Riaad Moosa. It's not just supporting me. Like I offer amazing benefits. If you look at the other benefits on other Patreons, it doesn't come close to what I offer, right? Let's go check it out. Like and see all the voluminous things I'm offering on my Patreon. But other than that, just, consume my content for free. I'm fine with it. I'm completely okay. Don't feel guilty. Right? Like, if you can say, help a brother out a little bit. No, you don't have to. Don't feel guilty. I do this for the love. And also look out for my latest comedy special. It's coming out. We're busy editing it. It's part of the tour that I just did the past year or so. I was interrupted. It started before the pandemic and it was interrupted. And now it's coming back again. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Assalamu alaikum. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time. Seek knowledge, brah.
That's what I have to say. Seek knowledge.
Iqra.